Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo, and this is our MeWe Awakening panel for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest and many online, and today's our online panel with a new theme that we've never had before. It is Demystifying and Reclaiming the Metaphysics of Aging. There are, I think, 7 of us on the panel tonight, and we will be introducing ourselves and talking about the theme, and then we will be answering questions from the audience. It's a great opportunity to ask questions and get feedback from lots of great practitioners to get perspectives, like lots of different perspectives on a topic. You can ask a question on the theme, you can ask a question on anything. And I'll think practitioners, if we can do this, and this is a harder thing to get us to, like herding cats to get us to do. Let's aim to introduce ourselves first and simply talk about who we are in our practice and all the things we practice. And then let's do a round talking about the theme. I just think because there'll be a lot of things we say about the theme, and things we each say will prompt us to say other things, etc. Yeah, so the best we can, let's do that. So we'll be introducing ourselves and then talking about the theme, and then we'll be taking questions. We do have one person in line with a question. I don't see that person here yet. Yeah, I'll be putting information on all the practitioners in the chat too. Let's do, and so for our introductions, maybe let's aim for about 2 minutes. So we have a little bit more time too to talk about the theme after. So about 2 minutes each, and let's aim to go in the same order as before. Let's see, so I get us lined up for that. I think we did Henry, and then Sadie and Asante, and then Marya, Stacy, Patricia, and Thorne. I think that was the, did I get all that right? I don't know if I got Mary linked in there or not. There's so many of us on the panel today. Maybe there are 8 of us on the panel. All right, let's do that again. I'm going to Henry. So I can move you all around on my screen. I'm going to do that. Let's put you in order on my screen. All right, Marya. Okay, great. As I scoot you all around. All right, so it's going to be Henry, Sadie, and Asante, Marya, Stacy, Mary, Patricia, and Thorne, just so you all know when you're coming. All right, great. Well, go ahead, Henry. Yeah, you got a couple minutes.
Hi, well, thanks for having me. And I will do that. I'll talk about myself. Yay. So I'm Henry and you're Holden with Holden Metaphysical Consultancy. And I offer a number of different modalities like life coaching. So I'm a life coach by training, and I'm a mystic by experience. And the two go quite well together, and as well as with the tarot. So I love doing tarot readings. I use my own deck. So if I feel called to use the deck tonight, which I usually do, then I will show them on screen. And I also do spiritual healing with people. I've done spiritual healing for myself and for some other people with great success. And you know, where I'm coming from is that from my own experience, finding out what you're about is the most important thing in life, aside from things such as health, of course, and love. You know, those are, you can't live without those. But when you don't know what you're about, you spend your life trying to figure that out, and you can't really get to your work. And so I did this, I found out who I am, and I did this without any help. I mean, I certainly was looking for help, but I wasn't looking in the right places. And so I didn't find it. And so it took me until I was like about 60 years old, like about 5 years ago, until I finally realized, oh, so my purpose in life is to help other people with their purpose. So you don't have to wait till you're 65. You can just make use of like the wonderful people on this panel. You can come see me or whoever it is that you want to see. You don't have to go it alone. And I think that we spent most of our time searching, sort of like trying to understand, trying to figure it out, when we could actually do the work to put in place the practices necessary to find out who we are, if that makes sense. So you can reach me at henryindiaholden.com. And I offer a free conversation, 30-minute conversation. All you got to do is avail yourself of the link, which will be in the chat. And part of why I didn't look for people to help me is because it was out of my price range. I never had enough money to pay for that. And so for that reason, I offer a $99 three session package called Fresh Slate. And once you get the package going, then after that, longer term sessions are $45 a session. So basically, if I could take insurance, if if that existed, then the copay probably would be about that. So that's what I'm adjusting it to. And I was inspired by my therapist who did exactly that. And that's why I was able to afford him. And that's why I was able to move from something that was dogging me and haunting me, the circumstances of my mom's death, my whole life. And it completely overshadowed who I was meant to be in life. And I solved that in 3 sessions, like, hallelujah. What an amazing thing. So I want to be really available and really accessible to people and not have money stand in the way.
Thanks so much, Henry. We've got Sadie and Asante next.
Hi there, I'm Sadie.
Hello, I am Asante.
We are Merkaba Heart, and we do energy healing utilizing a variety of modalities, including shamanic practices, sound healing, again, energy healing, all sorts of things. We're especially passionate about clearing ancestral trauma and reconnecting us back to the land and getting really in touch with Mother Earth. And yeah, we offer a variety of programs, intensive programs to support this process. We offer single healing sessions and packages and a number of monthly community events. We do a lot of drum ritual and really get into that and get us connected to sound for this healing process. Yeah, we're really excited to be here this evening. So thank you all.
Thank you all for having us. We're really excited to hear what the panel has to say and to hear your questions.
Thanks so. Oh, you can find more about us at www.merkabaheart.com. I always forget that part.
Great. Thank you so much. Marya's next.
Hi, I'm Marya OMalley. I'm a spiritual intuitive medium, and I mentor people in the intuitive arts. I do readings online for people, and I use cards or do direct readings generally. When I mentor people, the mentoring is one-on-one online, and it's tailored to meet your needs or interests. Like, some people are simply curious about exploring their gifts. Could they learn to use their gifts somehow, either for themselves or friends or family, or maybe even they're interested in exploring doing it professionally, like the people on the panel do. And so we approach it from that place. And if there's something that you're particularly interested, we'll dive into that more deeply. If there's an area that you're not familiar with, but you're interested in learning more about it, we can do that as well. I do have some special that will be put in the chat tonight. And that is for my special deep listening on aging sessions. And I will listen to you and listen to your concerns, your thoughts, your ideas about aging. Sometimes we just need to talk to someone, but we don't necessarily want to talk with someone who's close or in family, at least at the time. And I'm happy to listen to you. I'm happy to respond to you too within that deep listening space if you'd like. So check that out. You can use that link in the chat and get more details on it if you're interested. Also, if you sign up for the email list, and you could win a free reading. I believe we're doing that tonight, aren't we, Laureli? I'll put you on my email list, and you can find out more about these deep listening on aging sessions and the other things that I do, the mentoring and so on. I offer free calls for people that are interested in mentoring. And I also offer free calls if you just want to talk about your direction and path. And I do want to tell you, it's never too late to learn, and it's never too late to do something new. So I'd like you to hold that space open for broader possibilities and new ideas tonight. Thank you. Oh, I'm at MaryaOMalley.com. That's MaryaOMalley.com. I'm also on Facebook, and that's at the @ Services for the Soul.
Thanks so much, Marya. We've got Stacy up next.
Hi, I am Stacy Franco. I'm an intuitive medium energy healer for people and their pets. I grew up being told I was always too sensitive and too emotional, and to get control of that, that led me to where I am today after ignoring it. I had a niece pass away at a very young age, and she started talking to me immediately, giving me messages to relay to my daughters. And that took a lot of guts and a lot of bravery to relay this to my daughters. I was like, how can I do this? And I knew then at that moment when I uncovered secrets that only they knew, that I had to use this and take this out to other people and pay it forward. So that's where I am. I'm coming from a background in the military. I'm a personal trainer, a coach, health and wellness advisor. I've worked predominantly with women. But now I do energy healing, all modalities, Reiki, NLP, hypnotherapy, chakra work, and energy clearing. So that's me. My website is Coastal Cal, like California, because that's my favorite place, coastalcalmedium.com. And I do have a 10% off all my services. So you'll find that over in the chat bar. So I look forward to talking with you about anything tonight.
Thanks, Stacy. Mary's up next.
Hi, my name is Mary McKenzie. I am a Wiccan high priestess with over 30 years of experience in the Wiccan and witchcraft communities. I do primarily intuitive work through tarot. I also work exclusively with the goddess. Many different goddesses work with me. I practice my service for the community at large, for anyone who wishes help in understanding themselves and their lives through nature and through the goddess. I have had many teachers. I worked with many traditions. I am emerging back into the psychic and metaphysical community after COVID. And so I am starting to become more available at different psychic fairs, especially Laureli's MeWe fairs. I will be at the Linwood and the Bellevue and the Anacortes fairs this year. I practice primarily just helping people through my intuitive and spirit guided impressions that I receive through my tarot readings and through what the goddess lets me know. So when you speak to me and work with me, you are working with the goddess. I also do DNA activations, and I do energy healings. I do house clearings also. And I do also work with you in the perspective of understanding where you're at in your life cycle. In the Wiccan community, we look at life as a circle, the wheel of life, the wheel of the year. I am what you would consider to be now a crone in the maiden mother crone cycle of the goddess. And so I can explain that more to you in depth tonight, in fitting with our theme. So I am also available at a website that I'm going to put here in the chat. And that can give you a little bit more information about what I do. I have not put my events in this, but if you do contact Laureli or go to any of her links, again, I will be at the Linwood and the Bellevue and the Anacortes fairs for those days reading tarot, and I'm more than happy to talk to you further. And I also do sessions online on Zoom. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mary. We've got Patricia next.
Hi and welcome everyone. I'm Patricia Eslava Vessey, and I'm a certified personal trainer and a fitness instructor for 42 years. I'm in my 60s, and I've been in the field. I teach 9 classes a week, online and in person. And the reason I'm still in the field after so many years is because I've learned how to work with my body. I've learned how to be best friends with my body, to care for it, to love it. And so I work with people to help them also appreciate, love, embrace, and support their bodies and their minds. I'm also a hypnotherapist, an NLP practitioner and trainer, and an author. And so I work with people of all ages, groups and kids and adults, and in particular lately, a lot of young people who have been traumatized by this pandemic and who have been suffering with anxiety and depression. Is one of my specialties. I help people reclaim their lives and redesign the life that they want for themselves as they age, and to create and build and sustain new healthy habits while feeling confident and choosing how they want to be this next part of their life. I teach hypnotherapy classes along with some others, and you can find out more about me on my website, which is integritycoachingandtraining.com. It's all spelled out. You can also get a free hypnosis recording to help release stress on my website, and you can contact me for a free consultation. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Patricia. All right, Thorne is next. And I'll spotlight Thorne. Oh, wait, does that work?
All right, great. Okay.
I can spotlight the interpreter too. Let me see who's interpreting.
All right, so good night, good evening, everyone. It's great to see you. This is great. Okay, so I am deaf. I'm an ASL using intuitive and an astrologer and a tarot reader. And, you know, I just work in so many different modalities, and that's been true for many years. I work with deaf and hearing individuals both subsets of humanity, and I use American Sign Language and I speak. I can work with both people at the same time and both modalities at the same time. Also, I don't only read tarot and astrology, but I'm a life coach. I work with interpreters and intuitives and interpreters and many different subsets of humanity. I would say that recently I became 44. I had my birthday, and so I'm an elder, I would say. I'm growing into that, you know, moniker. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to figure that out and how to kind of root and ground in that. So I've had the same experiences as who was talking previously. And so, yeah, I think we all have life experiences and we can support each other in our emergence. And I think one thing's important is magic and finding, you know, what is magical in life? Where can we connect to magical things in life? And I think in supporting our clients, we can find the magic. So I think also I am also trans and poly and all these things. And so I do think that as a client, I like people who identify with what I identify with. I think, you know, we all need support. So I'm very happy being here, and I'm happy. I'm looking forward to the panel and hearing all of your comments and exchanging ideas. And I just want to say that this is perfect. I love everything that chat, and I'm appreciative of the interpreters being here. So thank you, and thank you all. I'm grateful.
Thanks so much. I'll get you off spotlight in a moment. Okay, great. Great, thank you. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader and a body psychology coach. I read your eyes, read your soul, and answer questions about your soul, your path, your purpose. I think that we all read eyes all the time. If you think about when you meet someone with dark sunglasses and you can't see their eyes, there's so much missing. And as soon as you see their eyes, there's so much there. I use a set of archetypes to interpret what I see in your eyes. I call them thrive types, archetypes for thriving. And then I answer questions. It could be about your career path and how to express your purpose on your career path, where to find places to work, people to work together with that really understand you and want your purpose. I can help you understand relationships that you're in. You show me photos of people that you're connecting with now, be that for romance or business, family. And I love to use this work for matchmaking. Just as eyes are the window to our soul, I believe they're also the window to our soulmates. So I help people find soulmates, people with similar eyes. My body psychology work is about being aware of our bodies and the messages coming through our bodies. Our bodies are giving us messages so often. So it could be that we move in a particular direction. Like if you think about something sad, a loss that you've experienced, chances are you feel a softening in this part of your body and you cave in forwards a bit more and your head might come down. When you see someone else doing this, it might be that they feel sad. It might be a loss that they've experienced. When you have an itch, it depends where that itch is, right? If on this part of our body, it might be that we want something or don't want something, or we want to say no. All kinds of information. This part is creativity. So they're all different kinds of things. Okay? So I'm watching your body, watching your eyes, noticing subtle patterns, and open to my intuition as to what messages come through and what this means. And I use this to help you live fully. I'm Laureli Shimayo, and you can learn more about me at laurelishamayo.com. That's LaurelishImayo.com. And I'm also running the panel today. And I have a special in the chat as well. I just was putting everyone's information in the chat again. I'll put the basic information about the event in the chat in a moment too. So today's theme is demystifying and reclaiming the metaphysics of aging. We're going to go through and talk a bit about the theme now too. We mentioned it a bit as doing our intros. We'll share a bit more about the theme. And you want to be thinking about what question you might want to ask the audience or ask the panel. It's free to be here to listen and learn. It's a small price to ask a question, and I'll put that info in the chat. You can ask us about the theme. You can ask us about anything. Clearly, we have lots of wisdom, lots of different perspectives and insight that we'll bring to whatever question you have. All right, well, let's see. We can start off generally in the same order, and we can like wander in, and we can wander out of that order too. That's a natural flow. So I think, Henry, you were first in line if you want to start first, and yeah, we can pass that all around. Oh, you're muted. Let's get you in.
Okay, great. Yes, I saw that. I'm trying to put some time down here because I don't believe that I have 20 minutes.
Yeah, and we'll try to keep it like to a little bit shorter of a share, and then we can weave back in and hear the conversation too.
So do you think like 3 minutes? Is that good or a little
Oh,
shorter?
I think less. I'd love it if you could share like less than 2 minutes during this. We
Okay.
gotta get to questions
All
too.
Okay, great. Gotcha. All right, so I'm gonna say 2 minutes. Okay, great. So, okay, about aging. So I took some notes. So obviously, we think, like I certainly think, well, I'm 65 now. I've never thought of myself as old. I still don't think of myself as old. That's a concept. But the world is telling me I'm old with all the Facebook ads I'm getting and Medicare talking to me like every other day I get something in the mail. So I've had to at least face that culturally there is a conversation called old, and that this conversation is being pushed on me. And so I'm not appreciating it terribly. And my work is not to buy into it. Now, it's very, very difficult not to buy into something that is being shown to you from all sides, from wherever you turn, that's being shown to you. And so I was thinking, well, what is it that I am doing to manage that? And what I'm doing is I'm building on something that's already been in place. So it is a relationship with the body, because obviously until much, much later, the brain is still like super smart, quick, fast, good on top of things. But I'm noticing, my lower back a little stiff when I get up after I've been sitting here for 3 hours. So my body is different than my mind. And I'm distinguishing between the body as an autonomous entity, so autonomous from the conceptual self. So when I say I like this and I don't like that, or I am like this, or I'm going here and there, this is the conceptual self. This is the intellect. This is the brain, the mind that is talking. And the body has a very different life. It is much simpler and much simpler in that it works more effectively. It just works together. This is part of nature, right? Nature just works incredibly well. So what I do is I really talk with my body. I developed this relationship and I'm doing it more now. It's like sweet talking. It's like I noticed some time back that when something's hurting, I kind of partition it off, like this conceptual, this self-conscious self doesn't want anything to do with it, hoping it'll go away. And this is when the body needs us most. This is where it's like, hello, what's going on with you? How can I help you? Listen to the messages, give messages back, have this relationship. And I'm finding that this approach affects greatly or has a great impact in countermanding this societal conversation or story that's being pressed upon me of being aged. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with being aged, but in our culture, that's not respected. So a new conversation, a new story has to be invented, one that's not of the culture, to where you can embrace, or where I can embrace my aging without the derogation that's being put upon me in this structure. So I think that's all I have right now. You know, I'm totally open. You can ask any questions. I wish I'd had aged people around me that would have said to me, you can ask any question about aging. And it wasn't the case, because I think it's easy to get touchy because of so much of the age discrimination. So I'm not touchy. You can ask me anything and I'm happy to help. Oh, and one other thing that's really interesting is to develop interoception. Interoception, for those who are not familiar with the word, like I wasn't. Interoception is the body noticing itself. So like noticing what your heart is doing, noticing what your liver is doing, your spleen, etc., etc. Interoception aids this relationship of wholeness between the conceptual self and the physical self.
Great, thank you so much. Sadie and Asante are next.
Hi. Goodness, just listening, I'm already, so many ideas are sparked and I'm so inspired. Patricia was talking earlier about healthy habits, and that's a lot of what we don't, I haven't put it in those terms, but that's exactly what we teach and what our program's about, and what ancestral healing is about, is kind of undoing some unhealthy habits and patterns that have, you know, passed down the way through the generations. But getting really conscious about how we live our life, how we do our day, really working with the societal limiting conditioned habits and patterns that we've all taken on. You know, energy healing and sound healing is really powerful for undoing those unhealthy patterns and habits, and then we need to recreate new ones. So that's a lot of what we have learned as we've aged and gone through the years, learning to recognize those habits and patterns, and then how to work with them more consciously. So that's been a big part of our path.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So yeah, and just coming back to nature, somebody else was talking about the cycles. You know, that's a big part of what we learn as we age as well, and we just start learning how to work with the cycles, and getting back in touch with nature really helps us to do that. And again, that kind of goes against what we've been taught in society, is we don't work with the cycles very well. So we're learning to come back to that, and that helps us to age a little more gracefully. And I think it's important too that you know, yeah, somebody else, and maybe that was you, Patricia, also. I'm talking about just everything can come, you know. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that wasn't Patricia. Marya, what life throws at you, you just never know, you know. And part of those creating those healthy habits is being ready for those things when they do happen. So it's not always aging gracefully, you know, a lot of stuff, but how do you work with the things that come in?
Yes.
You can handle those more gracefully and skillfully.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Yeah. I am Asante. I'm a 54-year-old man, and I have really been working with sound for most of my life. It's helped me a great deal, and a lot of the modalities that we use have really been very helpful in dealing with a lot of the things that do come up. I would say about 2.5-3 years ago, I was suffering from really bad arthritis, and I had to walk with a cane, could barely grasp things. And we looked at my diet and adjusted that, and now I'm much better and no longer need to walk with assistance or anything. So we also look at nutrition as
habits,
well. It's
another
a
healthy
big,
habits.
It is. It's a big part of what we include. So yeah.
Yeah, healthy habits. I love it. So great to be here again.
It is great.
Thanks so much, Marya.
Hi. I'm so happy to be talking about this subject. I think I was the one that brought it up. originally to do a panel on this, because obviously I'm aging, just like all of us are, no matter what your age is. And as I said earlier in our Facebook talk, I talked about how I know a lot about life and I know how to sail, but it's like being a ship on a sea in uncharted waters, at least in this lifetime. So I don't know what's going to come up. I expect things just to be smooth sailing like they always have been. And that's not necessarily the way it works. But I found even with some of those really rough waters and stormy seas that it has been, when I look back on it, a real learning experience, real gift to me. So I'm looking forward to your questions tonight and hearing the rest of the panel talk about this subject.
Thanks so much, Marya. And yeah, you're the place where the panel arose. Thanks so much for doing this. Stacy's next.
So I learned something the other day from a coach that I have, and she posed it to me like this. She said, I believe we have an emotional age, we have an IQ age, and we have a physical age. And it's the balancing of the three that helps us. And that is what I've really tried to focus on. I'm 43. And I'm noticing I'm nowhere near like I used to be when I was 20. My wife, however, has claimed she's 32 for 8 years. And you wouldn't know that she has aged a day. So I am very aware of what you say, and what you believe also reflects right back on you. So I've been very careful with what I project about myself. And I've noticed that that has been helpful too. So I look forward to anything and everything that's headed this way.
Thanks so much, Stacy. Mary's next.
Hi, listening to everybody, it's been very interesting, your approaches to life and how it marches forward, and we're all getting older. You know, I'm going to be 58 at the end of this year, and so I've had people say you're staring 60 in the face, and other people that are just laugh at me and go, oh, you're still so young. And I get everything in between. So I think that my view has become age is what you have experienced. And I only recently, I would say in the last 10 or 12 years, have really come to understand that I've experienced a lot. And that's something to be proud of and to celebrate and to be positive about. And so I'm digging into that more. I'm starting to understand that more. And I am working a lot with my tradition, which would be the goddess, being Wiccan, and understanding how my age is affecting me. I had a very interesting experience. I had always wanted to go to Ireland and was able to do so right before the pandemic hit in 2018. And in Ireland, I experienced my final menses and I was done. I was now moving into menopause. And I did have a very respected friend of mine who is a reader tell me that I met and faced the goddess and left the mother behind and moved into the crone. In our tradition, we work with the maiden, mother, and crone. And so it was interesting, but it was a little bittersweet at the same time. And so I took that and I said, okay, what does this mean? And my guidance was that I like to meet people where they live, where they are in the moment, and talk to them about what their life is doing and maybe things that they find problematic. And now that I'm in the third phase of this, I like to speak to them about their time of life and what they're going through from my perspective. And that's been very, very, very interesting. But most of all, it's been very helpful for them because I'm actually being able to look behind me now and take that experience and use it to help them for the first time, really. I would say only in the last 2 or 3 years have I really come to that. And it's extremely exciting for me. It's really opened up a lot of things energetically for me. So I am able to really celebrate where I'm going now. So I think my perspective really is aging is about experience. The experiences you've had, the experiences maybe that you haven't had that someone else has had, and how you could relate to that. So I'm excited to be here tonight to talk to people about the experiences that they're having and getting wisdom and knowledge from those who have perhaps been there, and hearing that through the traditions and the spiritual ways in which they practice. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Mary. Patricia.
Hi again, everyone. As we age, so many of us dislike, criticize, and even hate our bodies. Society places us in a less than category as we age. And the reality is our bodies change. We have new aches and pains, and our energy becomes less and less as we age. But the thing is, aging can also be a time of celebration, enlightenment, and empowerment. We have the opportunity to recycle those goals that we put on the shelf so many years ago that we set aside to live our lives, to raise our families, to work in the world. It's an opportunity to recycle those goals, to step into them fully and embrace them. What have you always wanted to do but put off? This is a time as we age it's a time to embrace a new sense of freedom. We get to reclaim and redesign and thrive in a life that we desire. We get to release and let go of what no longer serves us and embrace the lessons that we learned and the wisdom that we've acquired through all of our many experiences. We get to explore and find joy in movement and in the way that we nourish and nurture ourselves with food. We have the opportunity to embrace new ideas, new thoughts and feelings about ourselves. And we can finally learn to truly love and support ourselves. We can also create community. There's a huge group of us. We are, I think, the biggest population now, those of us that are aging. We can create that sense of community and really, truly support each other as we go through this part of our life, this next phase in our life. And I love to support people as they age. It's exciting to me to help people in my fitness classes, in my sessions, in the group sessions. It supports me as well as I see people supporting themselves and achieving their goals and finding joy. So many of us, as we age, as we get to this place, we've got so much behind us that we're some of us dragging with us, and it's a time to let go of that and find something new for ourselves. And so I'm happy to be here. I was on that phone call talking about this topic with Marya, and I think it's an exciting topic and one that needs lots of attention. So I'm happy to answer any of your questions. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks so much, Patricia. Thorne is next. Let's see, Andrea, you're going to stay interpreting?
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Thorne. And and as far as aging goes, I'm very interested in the topic. It really impacts us differently in different ways. It's a transition where we discover things. And I think that when we look at different lenses and different frames, we might notice there's patterns. We might notice that we disconnect from certain things and we connect to new things and set things up, that are new. We have new things that are sticky situations and things that affect our health and wellness. We have new self-love and new love of other people. And I just think there's so many different aspects to this puzzle. It's like if we had a big, huge lens or a huge frame and we were putting everything together into a puzzle. So as far as, you know, just different individuals and their experiences, I just think I can understand a lot of experiences. I notice similarities, I notice differences, and we're always learning. I notice that as I'm aging and I'm changing, I mean, it's important to keep my mind fresh, you know, like not think, you know, not be egoic or big-headed. I think it's important to stay human, and, you know, it's important to just say, okay, I'm here now and I'm learning something today, and I will listen today, and I can be involved today, and there's a giving and receiving every day, and I think that's a big part of the exchange. So I think, you know, I'm excited to be here and just listen and see what's going on, and I'm looking forward to, yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And let's see, I think everyone else has shared, and I'm Laureli Shimayo. I think for me, I connect aging to greater sensitivity, and my body, well, how should I say? I think that being alive, being fully alive is our journey here in a body. Are we willing to be fully alive in the physical body and to allow spiritually the energy of who we are, our soul, the purpose of why we're here to express? And as I age, I'm 54. I'm almost a crone. I think I will be maybe the end of this month or next month, something like that. Maybe we'll talk more about that later. That comes up. So in some ways I feel more alive, and in some ways I feel less alive, right? I might feel less alive in that, yeah, my body is stiffer. I get messages of like, oh, if I'm not using my body, oh, it's not working as well. I really need to use my body. And there are ways that I feel more alive. I sense time passing. I don't know how much more time I'll have. I feel more of that like flame on high under me to live my purpose, like now or when, or no opportunity in this life, right? It's the opportunity for me to listen and follow. And my body being more sensitive, maybe all messages are more sensitive for me now too. I certainly have so much more awareness of my body and the messages that I get. So I think that we might feel more pain about some things. It might tell us, oh, this doesn't work for me. And we hear the messages potentially. If we're listening, we can hear them more easily than we did when we were younger. We could push through things and ignore them more when we were younger. I feel more of a greater sense of wisdom in myself, right? People have said that. I feel more relaxation and trusting that things unfold and happen and work, even though I don't know how. Yes, I trust the process, and I trust my knowing and my ability to make connections and bring in what's needed more than I have before. I think that living our purpose, stalking our purpose, right? Living that as much as we possibly can energizes us and fuels us and moves us through. I know there's so many new technologies too, so much that we know more now about stem cells and things like that. I know some practitioners will talk about that at the fair tomorrow, the online fair tomorrow. I don't know what all the secrets are, and I know there are ways that we can like supercharge our bodies and turn ourselves on in really good ways and allow our bodies to be in balance. I'm so much more connected to nature. Awareness of the change in me makes me more aware of how I'm part of nature, and to connect with and honor the rhythms of nature. I feel like that's how I honor my whole process more and more as well. So maybe aging for me is finding my way into flow more, flow of spirit through me, flow of being in a physical body. All these kinds of things, flow of the responses that come through me, the messages that come through. So that's what aging is for me. And so practitioners, if anything else has come up for you that you want to share from having heard all of us, those of you that shared in the beginning in particular, right after hearing more of us, feel free to jump in. If there's anything else, or we are on questions next. Yeah, to see if there's anything else anyone wants to share. All right, great. We shared a whole bunch. So we have someone that did buy a question ahead of time. I don't know if they're here already. I don't know if anyone else has yet. I didn't see anything a few minutes ago. Before we do start answering questions, I want to say well, when this is recorded, right? So this is very public. Thanks so much for asking a question and supporting us in this public process. If we go more deep than you want us to go, or we talk about topics you don't want us sharing about here, please interrupt us and let us know. We're here to honor you in the way we answer. Everyone might enjoy getting something to write with and something to write on. It's a great opportunity to practice opening to your intuition, in that what comes through you may be related to what we share. And it's confirmation that you're tapping in similar ways that we do. This is a great opportunity to learn from all that's asked, all that's answered, all that's discussed. And then also, please, if you could allow everyone's attention to stay in the panel, that would be great. If you have something come through you for someone that asked a question, please, if you could wait until we're finished. And then if you want to, write them privately in chat and ask them if they'd like to hear what came through you. Please honor whatever they share. They may feel full after hearing our answers and may not want any more, and trust that it has come through you for some other reason. I'm going to put the information in the chat again about how to pay to ask a question. It is sliding scale, 20 to 28, and $12 for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. So we did have one person, I don't know if they're here though. It's the initials are B and M, if that person is here. Some people use different names or pay through different names. There's a doctor. All right, person might not be here yet. Let's, and I have written them, so hopefully they will come. If you have paid and I haven't noticed that you've paid to ask a question, please let me know. Please let me know in chat. Make sure I get you in line. And in particular, we want to leap right to your question because you'll be first. And thank you. Some people have donated for the interpreters. I appreciate that very deeply. I guarantee paying the interpreters whether or not we make anything from asking questions. So please, too, if you want to ask a question, that is another way that you support the whole process happening tonight and support all of us being here. Yeah, and we get to ask our own questions if there are no other questions for the audience too. So, oh, and we had another interpreter coming back in. I hadn't realized that she popped out, or they'd popped out. All right, great. Yeah, so maybe not any questions yet. All right, practitioners, the field is open. We can ask questions too. And if anyone in the audience has a general topic around this that you want us to discuss, feel free to let us know that too. Yeah, Henry, is there something you wanted to share, or you're muted? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I have a question. Didn't somebody say that they work with animals? Who was that? Was that Patricia? No.
Stacy.
Stacy. Okay, because I see I have to change my view.
Yeah, our animals age too. We get to be with all the field as they age.
So who was it? Tracy?
Stacy.
Sorry.
Me.
Okay.
Stacy.
I can't even see Stacy.
Oh, Stacy, we got to turn off your video probably.
Where is Stacy?
I'm going to turn off Stacy's
video. Video's off. Is that better?
But I got to remember to turn it back on.
Where is Stacy?
Is that better?
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Hi. Okay, good.
Okay, so Stacy, how do you work with animals? So I can make a question that makes sense for you. As a medium?
I do. I work with them as a medium. I work with them through Reiki as well.
Okay. That's what I need. So my little dog Annabelle is like almost 18 now, and she is, kind of like liver failure is starting to happen. It's from years of painkillers because she has terrible arthritis. And so we decided to go with the painkillers. So she was pain-free, and we knew that would cause her liver. So I'm wondering where she's at, because this is kind of what I'm trying to ask her. Like, I've been asking her for the last month, are you still good? Do you still want to be here? But yesterday and today, I feel like she's in a place where she's not communicating with me. So I'm afraid that she's not communicating because she's in too much trouble.
Okay.
So what are you getting any hits on that, or?
Yeah, so give me a second.
I can show you a picture of her. Does that help?
Sure. I don't think I'm gonna have any trouble connecting. I'm just trying.
It's right there.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's her.
Okay. So I do feel like, So when you're talking about her, I hear like, I heard her say mommy. I don't know if that's how you refer to yourself or not, but I get a clear head on like mommy. And yes, I feel like she's in pain, but she knows the end is near. I feel like it is close for her. I've walked a couple beloved pets through the end, and that's what I'm being shown, and that's the feeling that I get. And she's like, I'm getting she's gonna go on her own. Like I don't feel like she's wanting assistance there. Like, yeah, it's near and she's okay. And yes, she's in pain, but man, has she had a good life. And like, don't beat yourself up about it, and don't worry. You're gonna connect again, and she's always going to be there. Do you have a specific, very specific question, or more that you want to know?
Well, yeah, I think that is, I had expected that I would be able to communicate with her to, you know, consistently all the way up to the end. But so I'm really a little bit shocked and surprised, because we lost a dog last year, and we communicated all the way to the end. So I'm a little shocked and surprised here. So I think you answered the question. I was wondering whether we should have her put to sleep. Really, you know, that was the question, because
I mean, you know, of course, it goes back to what you're comfortable with, you as the human. But
just don't know.
I feel like that's not what she wants.
Okay.
But I mean, she's okay. She's happy. It's a temporary state. She's moving out of this soon. To not worry about that. It's just part of the whole cycle, right? We're all going to go through it.
Yeah.
She's not in so much pain that she can't communicate. It's just part of the cycle. I'm getting a lot of pain, like a heavy head with this. So I don't know if there's something that's going on there, but I feel really heavy, really lethargic. I really feel like so oftentimes when I communicate with humans or animals, I ask for death state. She's not passed on, but I think she's showing me where she's at, and I'm really, really, really warm. You know, obviously anybody will support you in whatever you decide. I feel like she will go on her own, and that's really what she wants.
Okay. She might not know what that would mean for her.
This is true. And this is true.
Yeah. And it would not surprise me. She's incredibly stubborn and stoic and willful, and she's in charge of her own self. Always has been. You like can't train her or anything. She does what she wants. She's not obnoxious. She's not doesn't cause any trouble, but she lives on her own terms. So
Can I ask a question that's to Stacy, if this is true? I wonder if she stopped communicating because she's not wanting you, Henry, to know how much pain she's in, and she's attempting to not tell you, but you obviously pick it up. But is that part of what's going on, Stacy? Do you think?
So when you ask me that, I'm covered in goosebumps head to toe. Like if there was any more hair on my body standing up on end when you say that. So that to me is that's a affirmation, a confirmation of what you said. So that may very well be what is going on, because we do protect our pets. Our pets also protect us, right? I mean, they are here for lots of reasons that we just can't understand. And if you believe in reincarnation, we come, they come, we're in this cycle.
Yeah, we've incarnated together many times before.
So I just got to hit Henry that like there may be silence right now, but it's not always going to be like that. The veil is very thin. Continue to talk to her. She hears you. She wants that. I'm covered in goosebumps again, and I'm getting super emotional about this. Just keep the communication up and know that she's always going to be there, and that you guys are going to connect again. And she's good. Like I just have this sense of like you're saying, she's strong, she's willful. It's okay. It's just part of life and death that we have to embrace, and it's not easy for anybody ever, especially being a pet.
I can't even imagine life without her. I try.
She says it's not life without me, Mom. It's not life without me. Don't say that. Words have power. It's not life without me. She's very wise. Yes, yes. Smile more. I hear smile more. It's a heavy subject, but smile more. So
Yeah,
I hope that helped.
it's terribly heavy. I love her.
And I
so
get that. And I feel that. But she's not as far away. I mean, and I feel talking to a practitioner, it's a little different, but I'm always trying to educate my people that our loved ones are not that far away. We've been taught something that I feel is so untrue. Talk to them like they're so much closer.
Oh yeah, totally. We have conversations. Do you get any sense of how much longer she has? I mean, that's an unfair question, and if you don't want to even delve into it, just reject it as a question. But in case you have some sense of it.
So all I got was 2, and I don't know what that means. That could be 2 weeks,
Just got
2
to-
months, but I hear 2, and that came as soon before you even got the question out.
Okay, it's probably 2 weeks, because that's the sense.
And I'm just
I'm not
relaying.
used to second guessing her because she usually tells me, So right now,
Yeah.
I'm lost. That's why I felt like, hey, I should ask somebody else because I'm so befuddled by what we're not communicating.
And
Mhm.
I rely on that.
Sadie and Asante
Yeah.
have something to share too. So Stacy, when you're finished, is it?
I'm good.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you so much,
Sadie and
ladies.
You're welcome.
Hi. Just this conversation made me kind of curious, something to throw out there since part of aging is death and facing our mortality and
Right.
working with our fear of dying. So curious how other people are working with that and what do you do as practitioners? What advice might you have, or how have you worked with this in your own personal lives? Yeah, just throwing that out there. If anyone has any thoughts they want to share.
There's been a lot of death in my family and a few of my friends. In the Gaia nature Wiccan community, we are not any different than, I would say, other metaphysical traditions, in that we understand it's a journey and it's the next step. But it's difficult to not be attached to the physical life that you're living now. And I wanted to also say to Henry that I think what I was picking up on, I can be very sensitive to animals because we speak with the elementals and the animals all the time in my tradition, in the trees and the rivers. And what I sensed was that she didn't want you to feel her pain, that she was afraid that if you connected with her in the level that you were used to, that you would feel her pain. And she loves you so much that she didn't want you to feel any of that. That was just something that came to me. And I think that most of us tend to equate death with pain because that's what our body is feeling. We can do that. But I think the more we can understand, especially all of us here understand that it's a hard thing to say, but we know that it's an illusion. It's part of the whole construct that we come in with and in the body. And we do feel that pain in the body, but learning to understand what that pain is about, speaking to that pain. I know there's a few people here that work specifically with the pain in the body and what the body says. I know when I'm walking around in the forest or at the beach or whatever, and I'm feeling my body's aches and pains, because I am too. I know that digging deeper in the earth, putting my feet in the ground really helps me to connect with the one thing that we're not separate from, which is the planet. I think a lot of us have become disconnected to the planet for various reasons, social, political, what have you, whatever we're sold or talked. and talk about, and it's just simply not true. We are not disconnected from the planet. We and the planet are one. The mother is you. You are the mother. And
Yeah,
if you
that's deep
understand,
ecology. I'm right there with you.
yeah, if you understand that,
Yeah.
begin to work with her on a very deep level to talk to your body and hear what she has to tell you about what your body's going through and its specific place in the life journey as it helps you and carries you forward. So that would be my, comment on death is beginning to try to see and understand as you get older that it's just another passage in the journey. I know I don't like pain. I have a very low threshold of pain specifically, but I understand that that's what it is. It's the body telling me something and I need to listen to her. So listening to her is listening to me.
Thanks so much, Mary. Marya's got something to share.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's not so much a fear of death, but, as mentioned, a fear of pain and suffering. And often when we think about, like, if we're confronted with a diagnosis or something that's life-threatening or painful or whatever, we think about people that we've loved or known who have suffered. And oftentimes that really was just a short period in their lives. So if we can think about not just that, the last few months that mom was alive or, the last while that grandpa, experienced on earth, but his whole life and the beauty of life itself, that helps too. And that knowing that our loved ones are still very much alive and they are not suffering. They do not carry the pain or whatever they may have had in their last part of their lives. Most people anyway. Some people have chronic pain, but they don't carry that with them to the other side. So that might help some in keeping that in mind. And also I remind myself, well, I'm not my sister, I'm not my mother, I'm not my father, I'm me. And I've been thinking a lot lately about how much in my life, being the youngest in the family, we are mimickers. That's how we learn to talk. That's how we learn to walk. That's how we learn to do things. And being the youngest in the family, I'm a real imitator. And if my older sister, who is 84, got a scarf I liked, I found myself wanting a scarf like hers. I mean, it had, it just is the way I am. So I realized I need to be myself more, kind of claim myself more instead of imitating or thinking that I'm like them and I have to do what they do and that kind of thing. There's a vulnerability that we can talk more about later, I'm sure, but there is definitely a vulnerability when you get older, when your body doesn't work as well as it did before. And that can make us feel afraid, but it can also, I've found for me, it makes me more compassionate and gives me more empathy. And also vulnerability is necessary for intimacy. Whatever age you are, for any relationship to be truly intimate, we need vulnerability. And this vulnerability not only applies to relationships with other people, but it helps us to have a truly intimate relationship with ourselves. Someone mentioned earlier about, when we're younger, it's easier to get distracted, after that guy, that relationship, that job, that achievement. As you get older, you're not after those things so much anymore. And so it makes it possible for us to have a more intimate and loving and compassionate relationship with ourselves, I believe.
Yeah, great. So true. All right. Do we have any questions? I love, Henry, that you jumped in with any topic, because yeah, we definitely could do any topic. My partner has an animal that's having a hard time right now too. Oh, Laurel. Yeah, what did you want to share, Laurel?
Yeah, I'm wondering if the panel could speak to aging as it relates to financial issues. I have friends that are nicely set up in their retirement years, and I am not nicely set up, and I need to look for some work, and I need to take care of my health at the same time. So I don't want much of a job, but it is a stress for me to not be able to address some of the things that need to be paid monthly.
Great, thanks for your question. And just before we talk about that topic, Thorne's got something they want to share about death and dying. So we'll do that, and then we'll come back to your question. All right,
Sure.
Thorne. Let's and are we switching? I know, Carly, you've been on for a while. Are we switching, or Carly staying on? Okay, so let me get Carly up here and then Thorne up here. All right, go ahead. Carly, we can't hear you. I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so there was something that I learned very recently, and I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. So for hearing people, when they're ready to go, they start to lose their hearing, and that's one of their last senses that their body has. But for deaf people, our last sense is our eyes and what we see. So that's the last thing to go. And I thought about this a lot and kind of, broke it down. I thought it was interesting because our bodies are all different, and how we hold that space for ourselves with our loved ones who have gone through that journey. And I just thought it was really interesting. So I just wanted to throw that out there and share that. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Fascinating. Thank you, Thorne. And so, Laurel, I want to come back to your question. So I think you were asking about, you're asking about aging and finance. And you're asking one about just the different expenses. And I think you're saying too, like some people have saved and some people haven't saved, maybe. I just like,
yeah. And I find like in my group of friends, unfortunately, I have this bad habit of comparing, but they're not dealing with the degree of financial distress that I am, and just trying to navigate my world so that I have extra income feels like a lot.
Okay, Marya's got something to share. Go ahead, Marya.
Hi, Laurel.
Hi.
I am okay, financially. I can't do a lot of like big things like, travel the world or buy an expensive car or whatever. But what I've found when I've been worried about finances at different times in my life, it helps me to remember, and maybe you can think back, have you always been cared for? I mean, have you always been basically had food to eat and a place to live in your lifetime?
Yes, I've been always kind of living on the edge because some of us spiritual seekers thought that money didn't matter.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a hard lesson to learn at the age of 75 that, well, money kind of did matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one way to look at it. And, you know, we can also look at it as, look, I've been taken care of before, you know, something's always happened, or I've never been, you know, not having anything to eat. Although there were times when I was younger that, you know, I didn't have that much to eat. I didn't have that much money to buy food, you know, but I would look at that, you know, look at the security that you truly had in your life, because that's the true story.
Yeah.
You haven't been bereft where you had no clothes, or, you know, tattered shoes that didn't fit you, or no coat and no heat and no food and those things.
Right.
And so you have been taken care of.
Yeah.
And I would affirm that you will, and that the money you spend will always be replaced by more, because isn't that true? The money I spend
Well, I've
will
got
always be replaced with more.
I've got big credit card debt. I mean,
Okay.
it's not exactly, and there have been a few times where I put food on a credit card, groceries on a
Yes. Yes.
but yeah, I mean, there have been those times that I'm very conscientious about paying my bills on time. So my credit is good, you know.
Oh, that's good. So,
Yeah.
you know, there are those things, and you could, you know, affirm that, you know, the right work is going to come to you. Right now, you're in a fortunate time if you're looking for work, because there are a lot of jobs available, a lot of positions.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. You know, it's not as bleak as it might seem, because we tend to imagine worst case scenarios.
Oh, yeah.
But that's highly unlikely given your experience.
Right. Good point. Thank you.
Yeah. And I find it helpful too to say that I'm grateful for, you know, what I have.
Right.
You know, grateful what I do have, and also grateful for what I'm looking to come. You know, I'm grateful for this job that I really like, and it gives me just the right amount of money to, you know, amply cover my bills and pay my credit cards down and that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I did start a gratitude diary, I don't know, a week or two ago. And sometimes I don't think of like food.
Yeah.
You know, the basics. And that's probably because I've never had to skip a meal. I fasted purposely, but I never had to skip a meal because I had to skip a meal.
Yes.
You know, so.
And remember, your source, you know, is the source of all, and it's abundant, you know, and there was something else I was going to say, but I forgot. And I thought it was really good. Anyway, maybe it'll come to me later.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you'll do fine. Just don't, you know, just keep remembering who you are.
Right.
You know,
right. Thank you.
You're going to be out okay. You're not going to, you know,
all through the cracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate the specificity of your comments, Marya, too. And just Laurel's asking this question in general. So like we want to be responding in general too. So it's great. So Sadie and Asante, yeah, you're next. Go ahead.
Had to unmute there. Yeah, what was coming to mind for me is I think so many of us are dealing with these energies of lack mentality, scarcity consciousness, poverty consciousness that are very prevalent in this society, and it's been set up that way to keep us, you know, down, keep us living in fear, and keep us not being in our power. And you know, this is something that I've worked with really hard myself and spent a lot of time dissecting. These are those types of belief systems that we have in our energy field that, we like attracts like, and we attract these situations to ourselves that keep perpetuating those belief systems. So really finding ways to work with those, getting very conscious of those belief systems, recognizing them, and then finding ways to work with dismantling those. And that's a big part of what we do. Like, the passion is to break down those belief systems that are so prevalent in this society, and there's so many of them, but that lack mentality and scarcity consciousness is such a huge one. And it's not there's so many ways to work with it. Certainly affirmations are one way to start trying to bring that into our consciousness and work with the energy to shift the energy, but it is an energy that we have embodied, and it's deep in there, and it's a very scary feeling, and I want to acknowledge that, because it's a horrible reality to be in. And I think a lot of us are there. We're just kind of getting through the day and doing what we can, and just kind of barely getting our needs met, and that's part of how we're kept down in this lower when we're just scrambling to get through with our basic needs. We can't really ascend to those higher levels and move beyond. And that's the plan. That's exactly the plan. That's what they've got in place. So I just want to say, yes, that's I feel you. I know that fear, and it's a big one, and it's big in our society, and it's not an easy thing to work with. And I think especially as aging, I'll just say that's like my biggest fear, is getting older and not having resources to take care of myself, and who's going to be there to take care of me, because our system certainly isn't showing to do that, and it's a horrible fear. So I just want to acknowledge that and say, yeah, there's a lot of ways to work with that, but it is a belief system that needs to be worked with for all of us. We all need to look at this and realize that it is a belief system, and we can move past it. And once we start to let go, recognize that the universe is abundant, the nature of reality is abundance. We've been taught a whole bunch of, we've been handed a bunch of crap, and when we start recognizing that and taking our power back, and stepping out of that mindset and that belief system, we're going to change it. We're going to shift the tides, and we're going to be in the abundance that is the reality. And I know that doesn't solve your problem right now, but just as a general, that's a big thing that we're all up against, especially as a society. Now they're making it worse, and they're throwing in the fear and food shortages, and which is crap. It's crap. It's not real. We're seeing it, but it's a created reality. It's a created experience for us, and it's not. We got to step out of it. So
definitely, and not watching news and certain types of media that feed the fear is a way.
I'm good about that. I don't watch. I hardly ever watch it.
Yeah. Because the reality is that we live in abundance, and there is enough for everybody. Unfortunately, it's not being distributed that way. And we're hoping that eventually it will turn around, and we can see little things here and there where it kind of looks like it might be, but it is definitely a recognizable fear that all of us, I think, carry. So you're not alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get us all riled up on this one. That's what we're trying to tear down, right?
I'll just say one more thing, and I want to let other people ask questions, but I just have two family members that I'm in contact with. And one is my son.
Laurel, sorry, I just want to interrupt, and just so we don't have anyone paying in line to ask questions right now, and so we're talking about topics in general. But and I know you're talking about finances right now, so if you want to ask a specific question and you want us to be able to share about a specific question, I'd love if you could contribute financially to us also.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So if I keep going, you want me to contribute? Is that what
I really would like you to do that. Yeah. Or we can just continue to talk about the topic more generally.
Oh, okay. No, I'll keep going and contribute.
Okay, sure. I'll put the information back in the chat afterwards. Okay, go ahead. So let's go ahead and we can answer Laurel's question.
Yeah,
Go ahead, everyone.
the situation is made particularly hard because my two family members, one is so wonderful and supportive in pretty much every way, and the other one is like not just, judgmental, you spent your money irresponsibly and you've used your money irresponsibly. And it's hard for me to get that out of my mind, which, he's right. I had to look at it. I had one of those things, that the hard truths that you finally accept. And, I took money out of PERS and I didn't put it back, and this and that and the other thing. Sometimes I spend it on, spiritual retreat or self-growth or whatever, but it's not what he would have spent it on. And we're in counseling right now. I don't really know how to talk to him because he's not metaphysically inclined. I don't know how to talk to the counselor about it because, in a way that I can feel supported without all this left brain societal stuff that's not always landing as, I don't always receive it as compassion.
And who is this family member? Like what?
It's my brother.
And you're in counseling with your brother?
Yes.
Wow. All right.
It's kind of different, isn't it?
And this is maybe could you just is it sorting out your life together, or their family resources that you're sorting out together? How did you choose? What has you both choosing to work on this together? What is the
well, I wrote what I thought was a very nice letter requesting a certain amount of money a month until like fall 2023. That would get me by in some kind of sensible way. Wouldn't, and he got very triggered by my asking, and there proceeded to be a lot of texting back and forth. Of course, I got defensive, not of course, but of course for me, when I don't receive judgment well, and I got defensive, and it was kind of yucky. And finally, he suggested that we go to counseling, which is something that we've done before. We're like opposites, only two siblings in this family. Our parents were opposites. And it was so, I feel like I'm living out this generational healing through a counselor that was probably at a little bit more mainstream than I would prefer, but I feel like there's still a way to maybe do some healing with this family member.
Great. And you're just asking him for support, like as a favor, or there's shared resources that you have and he's one of the decision makers?
No, it's not about shared resources. I just know that he has a big chunk of money in his savings, and I think he can put away a little bit from his retirement into his savings, and he doesn't want to tell me how much is in there because they said I would think he was rich. Well, anything over 10,000 is rich to me, so I don't know what he has in there.
Yeah, great question. Thank you so much. So I know Mary's next in line, and then those of you that have answered some already, feel free to come back in. And yeah, go ahead, Mary. And just everyone, we're aiming to keep our question. We've got an hour left of our panel, so we don't know if we're going to get more questions. So on the one hand, we could be some flexible with time, and at the same time, we might get more questions. So aim to stay somewhere around the 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. Go ahead, Mary.
My question for Laurel is, do you receive a certain amount of money every month to live on?
Yes.
Okay. That I just wanted to make sure that was established. So
right.
You're just looking for a little bit extra so that you're not just living bare bones, correct? Yes.
Well, actually, I need about $572 more per month until 2023. fall of 2023 to just be bare bones. I'm at a deficit.
Oh, you're trying to pay off debts and you don't have enough to do so?
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to get that cleared so that people can understand a little bit more about what your situation is about. I would suggest, and I know that there are 2 practitioners here that can do this, because I did it for myself. I come from poverty on both sides of my family. I've been living through poverty consciousness most of my life. My parents were poor, and it has become my goal to not follow in the footsteps of my grandmother and my mother, who both died alone and in poverty. And I started out by doing that by seeking out somebody who could speak to my ancestors for me, because that's something that I haven't become adept enough yet to do myself. I can speak to other people's guides and ancestors, but I haven't been able to really do that for myself. And I got a tremendous amount of help from a very special woman. What she did, Laurel, was that she was able to contact an ancestor of mine who essentially, and this was in the late 1600s, early 1700s, for more or less of a way of explaining it, cursed our family line on my mother's side. I don't know about my father's side yet. I haven't even gotten into that. By saying that she was horrified by what wealthy people were doing to the poor.
By what?
By what wealthy people were doing to the poor.
Oh, okay.
Keeping them impoverished, okay, by keeping everything and not sharing, okay. And to understand how these things used to work 200, 300, 400 years ago is the wealthy understood that if they reached a certain level of wealth, it was their responsibility to give back, okay. And that was actually part of being wealthy. That was your privilege, was to give back, okay. And that's why this story of Christmas Carol is so famous, because Ebenezer didn't is supposed to, okay. So getting back to what I discovered for myself was this woman that helped me found this ancestor who decided to not make it easy for future generations to receive money, because she basically said money is a curse. I don't like what money does. And through this woman, I was able to speak to my ancestor, whose name was also Mary, by the way. And so I called her Grandma Mary. And I said, Grandma Mary, I am in a position in my life now where I can help other people, but I do need a little bit more means to do that than what I'm living on now. And I realize that this is something that's going on globally with everyone, but I believe that I've given enough back through my many years of living. Let's go back to our age thing. And I want to be able to give now, and I need a little bit more to do that, and I need the opportunities to do that, et cetera, et cetera. And all this ancestor needed to understand was what I was doing was not evil, was not satanic, because you have to understand she's looking at it through 1700 eyes, okay. In that time period, what we do was considered to be evil, okay. So she needed to understand that. She needed to be able to have that explained to her. And so between me and this other woman, we were able to explain it to her. But what we did was we set up a system for me to follow where I talk to her and I keep in touch with her. But moreover, I honor her as one of my ancestors. And I think that that's something that is extremely important in your gratitude practice. As you learn to become more grateful for what you have, you receive more. And that's because you're breaking that cycle of thinking that all you have is nothing, okay? And that you just don't ever have enough. And when I started to break that, when my mind started to change and I started to understand that what I have is so much, I'm so blessed. Laurel, I have so much stuff in my apartment from 3 years or from 3 marriages that when I finally move out of here, it's going to take me a month and a half, 2 months just to get rid of some of this stuff. And it's a lot of stuff, but you know what? It's a lot of blessings. It shows me how blessed I've been. So it was just, for me, it was a change in perspective. And I think that that's what we're all kind of trying to learn now as human beings, is what is really our perspective on this whole money, poverty, no poverty thing. It's perspective. And once we start to wake up to what's really going on and what is real, I think somebody else referred to it as what's not real is crap. It really is. It's crap. It's an illusion. There really is plenty for everyone here. And I will tell you that Mother Gaia wants you to know that. The mother is very full and she wants to give. So if you're able to connect with somebody who can speak to your ancestral line and perhaps find where you are receiving that information from the past to enable you to think that you are in lack, and you're able to clear that out somehow, it will change. It will help parts and parcel with everything else that you're doing, so that you can start to look at what you receive in life as different and as abundant. It could go from buying the bargain loaf of bread at the store to buying the more expensive loaf of bread at the store. But just that small change reminds you that, yes, I'm abundant. Yes, I have what I need. But it really is, it's a change in mindset. And I know that isn't putting, $500 in your pocket right now, this very moment, but I can guarantee you it will over time. You'll start to just see it. And even if it isn't just immediately cash in hand, it will be opportunities that will come your way to help you out of this position or place that you believe yourself to be in right now.
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes. And I can definitely start tonight when I do my gratitude diary to add some things that I wouldn't normally add. Yeah, some things that I've maybe taken for granted because I always did have a meal in front of me when I needed it. Yeah.
Maybe perhaps one of your ancestors didn't. And maybe that's something that's coming into you now that you can look at.
Oh yeah, my mother said she wrote in her diary that something about she went to the store to get 5 cents worth of cheese and 10 cents worth of macaroni, or vice versa, during the Depression. And they can, they were barely eating sometimes.
And I think when there are times
we got to finish up and go into more answers too. So just what is the last bit that you want to, and then I'll clarify a question.
When you feel this way, it's easy to slide back into the past and to remember what things like what you just told me, and that really isn't where you are at right now.
Right.
Remind yourself that. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And one of our practitioners asked a question. What is your specific question? Do you have a specific question? Do you just want us to comment on this based on all the things you've shared? Laurel, that's for you.
That's for me.
Do you have a specific question, or do you want us to just respond to all the?
Okay. No, I think it's just about how not to be scared, but I think that's been answered. I think that's been well answered, how not to be afraid.
Okay, great. Thanks for clarifying. All right, Sadie and Asante next, and then Marya.
Hi there. Hi, Laurel, again. I just wanted to second what Mary was saying. Working with that ancestral energy is really, really powerful practice. From the way that we work is that, in this quantum reality that we're starting to get more in touch with and understand that their time and space is a construct and it's not really happening. And the way that we work with this is that our ancestors are here with us in real time. Everything is happening in real time right now, right here. So any healing, any work that you do on their behalf for them heals their energy, clears it for them, and clears yours as well, all at the same time. And so the way we work with this is we talk directly with our ancestors, and we don't, I was adopted myself. I don't know my ancestors personally. I don't know who they are in that sense, but I know that I have them.
Right.
I just talk to them in that way. And I talk to them like, you know, and I've done, you know, various rituals or honoring rituals, you know, gratitude rituals for them, and just really using your intention and just wishing them well and opening up a conversation with them and dialogue with them and speaking with them like, I'm so sorry for any pain that you've ever experienced, and I would, you know, it's my intention that we help clear this. How can I support you? And just know that I love and care about you, and I'm praying to, you know, unwind these energies for you, and just talk to them like that on a regular basis. I myself just added this into my daily practice to just open up that communication with them and start the dialogue and have you know, and listen. I mean, we all have these psychic abilities. They've just been really shut down, but we can talk with them. Just talk with them like they're right here. I'm sorry for any pain that you've had, and I'm you know, what can we do to clear this this poverty consciousness and that fear, because that's what it is. It's fear. If your parents lived through the Depression, or grandparents, I don't know the timing of it, but you know, that's energy that's part of your experience. And as you unwind that for them, just through intention and setting intention, I wish you well, and I wish to clear this for us all. It will happen. That's just how it works, you know? And you gotta work with this over time, but it really is, it does work that way. Just the intention and sending so much love to that. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, especially if they were carrying you during the Depression while they were going through some of this.
No.
Okay.
No, they weren't.
But still, the fear that they had then would still be transferred into you, though. So
right.
It's definitely something to work with.
Yes. Thank you.
And when you heal theirs, you're going to be healing your own.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much.
Powerful stuff. Yeah. Thanks again.
Great. Thank you, Marya.
I'll just make this quick. I remembered what I wanted to say. For me, it helps to, when I'm giving thanks, you know, in my gratitude journal or whatever, is to give thanks for resources, you know, money, whatever it is, the abundance that come from sources known and unknown, expected and unexpected. So you can expect the unexpected too.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. And then maybe Sadie and Asante, there's something else you want to share? Go ahead if there is.
Okay, just a real quick, that just reminded me a practice that I learned from an astrologer I listen to all the time, you know, working through this exact issue myself. And one of the practices was to look around and notice all of the abundance around you and just start really seeing it. Things like, look at the blades of grass that are just like, oh my gosh, all the leaves in the tree. Look at all of the little particles in the table, in the glass, you know, like everything is just unbelievable abundance, you know, when you start really seeing it everywhere and tuning into that versus tuning into the lack.
Yeah.
It really helps to shift. Like, how many fibers are in your carpet? How many fibers are in your clothing? You know, how many hairs are on your head? You know, I mean, it's just like when you start seeing that, you start aligning with it. Just it's a powerful practice. So it's really helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. Thank you. I love how we're all in so much sync. I know I was writing down related things right before you spoke. It's great. All right, practitioners, more answers for Laurel. I know I have something I can share too, but I want to give everyone else an opportunity first. Yeah, practitioners, anyone else ready? Okay, so a little bit I'll share is, well, so one thing for everybody, right, when we feel scared in this way, is we often get scared about the future, right? We go out into the future. And so right now, today, you're okay right now, right? And so, and again, in terms of aging, like how do we do this in a way that's good for our bodies? So sumo position is helpful. So in whatever way is friendly to your body, it can be sitting and just pushing your legs into the ground, but getting into like a sumo wrestler position where you feel your legs, right? You really want to tense up your leg muscles and your pelvis and feel your feet on the ground. So typically our energy doesn't go out to the future and we feel scared about that. We come right here, right now when we do sumo. So in whatever way is good for your body. So literally pushing your feet into the ground and feeling your feet in the ground. That's one antidote for fear for everybody. And then I always do what's abundant around you right now. I love the idea of going to nature and all these kinds of things around us and thinking about even, she said like the molecules in the glass. I was just thinking about anything that's abundant, I have I have lots of sets of sheets and lots of pillowcases, like anything that's really abundant. Like you said, you have abundance of, someone was sharing lots of different things, but yeah, anything that you have a lot of, right? Be that books or who knows, or pens, or just having that sense of a lot around you. That's great. And then a practical question, because I know you've come on and shared before. At one point you were looking for work and maybe you're not looking for any work now. Where are you with all that?
Well, I've just started looking, and I've thought of childcare, and also there's something called Substack that I could do some writing on. I have a hard time navigating technology, and I get frustrated. So sometimes I just resist things that frustrate me because then I get stressed out, right? So, but I have been able to put a profile on one website for childcare, and what was the other thing I was thinking about doing? Well, tutoring. But there's this block in me that says like, I don't want to work. But I have to be practical because my brother and my son, who is very sweet, my son is so wonderful. He thinks that the solution is to get work. So I can't like keep resisting it.
So I remember you worked with kids before, and so that's one thing that I wrote down is nannying. I have someone else that works for me that helps post events. Part of what she also does is nannying. She switched from working in classrooms, where the way she phrased it, working with like 30 kids at one time, and she was only getting paid like this much. And so she went to nannying 2 kids, and now she gets paid this much, and she gets insurance with it, and she gets paid while the kids are sleeping. So it's kind of crazy, right? Our society that we only pay people with 30 kids so much. But yeah, so nannying is just, there's a huge demand for it right now.
Yeah. And, I don't want to put anybody in the position of what I do in my own mind of yes, but it's like, I feel like I've lost competency because of the vulnerability of my body. And so I feel like I couldn't,
So I agree. It's got to be a right setting and a right family, right? And a right mixture of kids. And I wonder, and you bring all kinds of gifts that a typical childcare worker would not bring.
Okay, yeah.
I think it'd be important to find a family where it's really congruent and consistent with that. Like, like on the MeWe page, like let's reach out to MeWe community and see if there's someone that wants childcare, right? So that you're someone that shares all these values. So it might be great to be with someone in the community, for example, someone that really wants all these other things that you bring.
Yeah, I actually what I would love to do that really turns me on, that is I would love to be able to be sort of an advisor or counselor to parents who are having difficulties with a child who is sensitive like myself, which is one of the reasons why I ended up with not so much money, is because jobs are overwhelming to me and always have been. Yeah. And I would love to work with parents who say, yeah, I don't know what to do with my child. They're just so sensitive. They cry when somebody hurts their feelings, even a little bit, and that kind of thing.
And I get you don't like technology. So you said all the things that would be great to put on a Facebook page or a free website. You don't even have to pay for stuff. And so finding someone that has these sensitive kids, that someone that knows technology and likes technology, and have them set up the website for you. So you're totally all set. You said great things about what you want to offer. Yeah, there's the practical, like maybe working with kids now and having that going. And that's something that you can have go for a long time, right? That you choose how much of it you want to do and when you want to work. So I want to give other practitioners a chance to share. Maybe there's one other thing I want to just toss in here, and it's contrary to what other people have shared. So we might talk about this later as another topic too. It seems people, a number of us have shared like that there's enough for everyone. And I'm of the philosophy that maybe there's not enough for everyone. I'm of the philosophy that there's enough that's good. There's enough that's an amount that's good. Like, I don't believe in like infinite utilization of resources, and like I think there are consequences of that. So yes, I just want to throw this in here. So it's going in the direction of what's good, what's really of service, what's in alignment with the universe, in alignment with nature, and those kinds of things. Yeah, and so showing up as someone in the world that's good. And so the more that you keep aligning your energy with what's good. I love that you're in counseling with your brother. This is so exciting. Yeah. All right. So I'll toss that along to other people and just to have that sprinkled in here.
Thank you, Laureli.
You're welcome. Henry's next.
Okay, Laurel. So I just, even though you didn't ask a question, I pulled some cards for you, and I'm going to share them now, and we're going to talk about them for a minute here.
Oh, and one comment, since we have interpreters, when you share your screen, no one can see the interpreters. The recording won't have the interpreters. So could you just share the screen for a moment?
Yes.
Let us all get a good look at it if anyone wants to do a screen capture, and then unshare.
Yes. Okay, I'll do that. That's a really great idea. Okay.
It's not up yet.
No, I'm having to pick multiple.
That's great. And just so everyone knows, Thorne's going to be next.
Yeah. Okay, great, Thorne. Okay, so
hold on, you can't talk. Can't talk.
Oh.
Maybe I'll do is.
Are we putting it in the chat?
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, go back and I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, you have it in the you captured it? I can stop sharing?
Yeah, stop sharing.
Okay. Okay, so these cards make a lot of sense to me for you, Laurel. So the first one, and I think each of these cards has to do with your mindset and your perspective and how you frame your reality. So, but I believe that cards do more than that. They're not just psychological tools. I also see them as divinely guided tools. So I feel divinely guided when I do readings for people. And usually how I do it is that I ask the querent, which you're not a querent because you didn't ask a question, but in this case, I would ask you, what does your inner wisdom tell you about these cards? But in this forum, we don't really have time for that. We can't like do a bunch of questions back and forth because it'll be an hour-long reading. So I will just give you a snapshot of what I'm seeing, what's possible here. Because that's what I also do when people, once people are done with what they grab from the card, then I will supplement that with how I feel divinely guided. So the first card, the polyrhythmic universe, it's in itself it points to shifting your reframing your mindset. So the polyrhythm is when different things are going on at the same time rhythmically. Poly is like multi. So like imagine sitting on a horse. And, when you ride a horse, you got to go with the rhythm of the horse. Otherwise, it hits your sits bone really bad, right? And so you could go like, this is a bad situation. This horse is having the wrong rhythm. Or you could say, well, there's these different rhythms going on and polyrhythms. And then how do I navigate that? So that's the question to ask yourself. These different things going on, like the stuff with your brother, the better stuff with your son, the stuff with your money, with how you feel about working, how you feel about where you are, or what's going on with your body. These are all, you can look at them as all as different rhythms. And how do I now find some way to navigate that, rather than saying the thing with my brother's bad, my son is sweet, that I don't have a money scares the heck out of me. It would me, certainly. And has many times in my life, me. You see what I'm saying? Like there's like this already always how we interpret all these things. And this card points to how you could say, I don't know how to interpret that. Let me see how, you know, what's possibly a new story. So that's the only card we got.
You can keep sharing a little bit. Go ahead. No, it's okay. We have more time. No one's jumped in. It's okay.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay. So did you capture this so far? I'm going a little bit fast.
Yeah, the multiple things.
Multiple rhythms. Yeah. So look at it as multiple rhythms rather than as these individual problems.
Okay.
And the second is seasons. It's very, very similar. So this is also the polyrhythmic universe is the family of the Ouroboros. So it's kind of like eating itself, because when you're looking at all these different situations as individual problems rather than as these different rhythms to possibly harmonize, that it's like eating yourself from the inside, right? So it eats you up. So then the second one is in the family of torchlight, which is guidance. And so here, which is illumination, right? So here with the seasons, what we have is these different conditions that come back around cyclically. So that's yet another way of like another template to lay upon your life and like look at your life through this template, or another lens to put upon your life. Like the first lens is the polyrhythm. The second lens is the cycles that follow each other rather reliably, even though like sometimes summer is much shorter, like in Seattle this year. Sometimes it's longer, colder, hotter, but there's a general cyclical nature to things. And so if you look at like, if what's going on in my life right now is a cycle that is reliably repeating itself, what information can that give me? So that's the second way of framing your reality right now. And then the third card is the void. And this is in the family of keys. So that's instruction. And so if you look at, again, reframing your experience and how you're relating with it and what you make it mean, if you look at it from a place of void, then you are less attached, because what happens is we explain to ourselves what's going on. We narrate the story of our life 24 hours a day, even while we're dreaming. The narration never stops. This is one of the things that we do as human beings, and maybe other species do that as well, but I certainly know we as human beings do that. And so void is about letting go of all your narration. Like even the story you have about your brother, now your brother is like this and your brother's like that, and he's not like this and he's not like that. All of that produces what you already have. So if you want something different, it is essential to do something different. I'm sure you have heard this many times. Well, how do you do that? Well, one of the ways to do that is to envision a void, because in a void, there's nothing to be attached to. Because all the explanations that you have now and all the ways in which you frame your life now and frame your problems and frame your challenges and everyone else's reaction to it, all of those keep it all in place. It's like glue. That glue holds it all together. So you want to look at your glue and like let this stuff unglue. And that would be the void, to let it unglue, to let there be nothing. And then rebuild the story in a way that serves you more. And you've heard some of that. Laureli spoke to that as well. You heard some of that. You know, what new thing can you say about it? What new vision can you have? Like when you have the vision, you know, like I don't want to work. It's a great one. And thank you for being so honest. That's totally awesome. Like right on, you know, a lot of people don't want to work. Sometimes I don't want to work. I totally get that. And so if how you're holding work a certain way. You have a narrative about work in a certain way. So when you let go of all your stories and envision a void, remember, this is an instruction. So an instruction always means a practice. It means a decision and then a practice that comes from the decision. So you can decide to practice non-attachment. And you can do that by envisioning a void. Every time you think about your problems, envision this blank place. There's no story here. And then you go, what story do I want to see here? What is it actually? It's sort of like when you go, I don't like this movie, I'm going to turn it off. And instead of trying to find another movie, you go, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write a script of what I would like to watch.
Yeah.
And that's that card. So in summary, treat your life not as a series or as a collection of problems or challenges, but as a polyrhythm that there is to navigate that. Re-examine your life by thinking of it in terms of cycles that repeat, and then extract from that what you can sense or what you can learn and understand, and then practice detachment by visualizing a void. And lastly, as an ecotherapist, the more you go out in nature while you do this practice. So what I'm going to do is, if you want, I'll send you these cards. If you give me your email, I will send them to you, and then you can be with them. Go into nature and be with them and talk to the trees and say, what do you think this all means? Because you want to get away from the mind you have, because the mind you have now is what has created what you have.
Right.
See?
Yeah.
So nature will be the most effective at helping you, because most of nature, especially trees that are like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years old, they have a level of wisdom we can't even imagine. And you can tap into that. You can just ask, you can just say, hey, I have some questions. Would you be willing to help me? And then just be still. And that is the reading.
Thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. I've known for a long time I need nature. I get kind of afraid to go out into it because of my vulnerable body, but that it's really necessary. Yeah.
Even if you just find one tree that you develop a relationship with.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be the park. It doesn't have to be remote.
Thanks so much, Henry. Yeah, so I got the screenshot was uploaded into the chat if anyone wants to see it. And then if you saw, I also, right, you can see it spotlighted. I also have it, even though it's tiny. Right, so it's been up on the screen too. You're muted, Henry. I can't hear you.
Right. Well, if it's too tiny, you can let me know, Laurel. My email is in the chat. If it's too tiny and you can't work with it, then I will send you the cards.
The one in the chat is easier to see. All right, we've got Thorne next.
Appreciate it.
All right, Thorne, and I'm going to move some people around.
Okay. Perfect. So I just want to add a short little comment related to abundance, the abundance mindset, as well as how to unravel a story that doesn't help you and kind of disconnect from that and set up your own story that does serve you. I don't know if you guys know about astrology. I'm sorry, setting of astrology.
Oh,
I just want to throw in a quick little tip there. It's because it's a little bit related to that. So Jupiter has the same kind of energy as something with abundance. So there's a lot of luck related to Jupiter. For example, your birth chart, where Jupiter is on the map, that, and also other charts with the transient, it'll show you where Jupiter moves around and where it is, and that energy that is really affecting you and going into your life And so when you take that in, it can really help you to kind of reframe how to use your energy to uplift you and to understand more positive abundance, look towards that. Not necessarily talking about the future, but talking about what's inside of you now. So I'm not sure if that helped, but
Yeah.
do anybody need clarification?
So are you saying to like look at my chart and see where Jupiter is?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And the reason is it can help you figure out which part of your life and what time when Jupiter is involved, how will that affect you? And where it's sitting in your chart will kind of show you when you will have that energy to give abundance to yourself. And then if you look at your transient chart with where that's going right now, I'm sorry, transits from your birth chart to the time that you're in right now,
right,
that will help influence your like natural connection and energy that will provide support to you from yourself. Does that make sense? Because it's easy to become stuck with that scarcity mindset or, you know, fear, nervousness, or the idea of disconnecting from something and opening a new chapter and welcoming that different energy. So I'm hoping that helps.
Yeah, and I have a friend that has some understanding of astrology that could help me with that.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, good.
So as astrology, you can really look at www.astro.com. If you type in your information as where you were born, what time you were born, it will populate a chart for you and you can see exactly where everything was. And it'll also offer you the transits and kind of expand on how those will affect you.
Yeah, I have a chart, but
you
I
have to
moved.
look at
So I
the
don't know where
basic.
it is, so I might have to do one again.
Yeah, definitely check it again. And then, like I said, look at your transits. And when you see that, you'll see how they overlap and how that'll affect you and what you're able to take in.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Great, thank you. All right, I'm just changing up the spotlights. And now we've got Patricia.
Hi, Laurel.
Hi.
Hi. So I'd like to, if you're willing, take a little bit of a different turn from all the wonderful suggestions and advice and information that you've already received, if you're willing. Okay. So, so go ahead and take a big deep breath in, and as you exhale, close your eyes. And maybe you can imagine in your mind a shelf where you can place all the information that you got from everybody to hear, the wonderful information you got. And right now, as you set it there in a safe place that you can retrieve, you know, at the end of the session, I want you to think about, you know, the fact that you have prioritized. I mean, I'm just stating what you've said. You've prioritized your own personal growth over financial independence over the years, and you've probably gained a lot from that. And you find yourself at a point in your life now where finances is important. It sounds like you're getting messages from the universe that it's work is what you need to do in order to sustain yourself, in order to support yourself. And you've even talked about what you want to do, what you'd ideally, I heard you use those words, what I'd love to do. And so I'd like you to imagine, with work as a goal, that you're possibly wanting to step into, I'd like you to imagine a movie screen in front of you. And on that movie screen is that another you. It's that you who has all this wisdom, who's at this place in her life, who's had those priorities in her life and has now a new priority on a new goal. And as you imagine that you there, and you look at her, see maybe even what she's doing, what she's thinking. Maybe you can imagine how she's feeling being at this point in her life. And she said some things tonight. She knows some things maybe she hasn't shared tonight as well. You know, maybe there are ideas that she has, some goals she has for herself. So I'd like you to just imagine that you there in that movie doing those things to support herself. You know, maybe getting that, what I'd love to do, see her doing that, you know, taking the steps to actualize that, to manifest that, and then see her in that situation, maybe talking to the parents, supporting the kids, or maybe it's something else you haven't mentioned. And it's as if you can look inside her head and see what she's saying to herself and how she's feeling as you watch her do what, you know, the messages she's getting that she needs to do and that she wants to do, part of her probably wants to do. And so as you see her in that movie, maybe she's thriving, maybe she's happy, you know, and see what else happens in her life as she steps into, you know, the messages that are coming to her from the world, you know, into that new role. See how she's feeling and see what else comes up for her. And as you see her navigate perhaps a new path, maybe feeling fulfilled in this role, doing what she would love to do, what she said she wanted to do, or maybe it's something else. I want you to imagine, you know, days going by, perhaps weeks going by, and how that changes her, how it changes and shifts her life. You know, what else changes as a result of her stepping into that? What else manifests in her life as a result of her taking those steps? And how she's feeling about that as she takes that new path. And as you imagine this new role, this new path of you doing what you want to do, I'd like you to just imagine floating from where you're sitting into that movie, into that you there. Step into her and see and feel and hear everything she's experiencing. As she's perhaps set new goals for herself, she's stepping into a new role, she's doing what she loved to do. She's seeing how that changes others, how it feels inside herself, inside yourself. And as you feel that, imagine yourself taking those steps. And I wonder what they'll be. I wonder what that first step will be. And I wonder what the second step will be. And imagine yourself taking those steps, feeling those feelings, taking those actions, being with yourself along the way at your own pace, in your own time, charting that new path for yourself. And see maybe how that future of yours, maybe it looks a little brighter. And I wonder how that looks. And I wonder if there's a color associated with that. And I wonder what that path looks like. And I wonder if there's sparkles on that path. And so as you integrate what you've seen and heard and felt just in this short meditation, perhaps there's something useful for you, knowing that you can return to this place anytime you want. You can adjust that video. You can adjust that movie to be anything you want. And so as you integrate and update your mind with all you've seen and heard and felt, go ahead and take a big deep breath and come on back and open your eyes. And I hope that was helpful.
Yes, I think it kind of goes along with what's one of the other people on the panel said. Somehow they may be related, but like stepping into the void.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was a different exercise, but there's something about stepping into the void first so I can recreate.
Mm.
And then somebody else said something about mindset. Yeah, there's a mindset that's part of an illusion that is not serving me.
So it sounds like there's some stepping stones to get to that movie.
Yeah, there may be, because I couldn't really come up with a satisfying first step.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was particularly satisfying. And it could be, you know, since we're talking about aging, it could be because I've tried so many things over the years to start something, and these ideas, which were wonderful ideas, never came to full fruition. Like putting posters in many Portland public school systems, our public schools, about starting a movie, periodic movies for teenagers, and then discussing them, movies that were that would inspire them to talk about things and talk about values, and not one response, you know, things. That's an example. And so not to be like, oh, it's not going to work anyway. It never has, it never will. You know, so.
Yeah, it sounds like you've gotten some great information that might lead you to being able to create something, a visualization for yourself. You know, yeah, I work with a lot of athletes and you know, first you have to see yourself doing what you want to do. I mean, that is a technique. It's certainly helpful with the athletes, that we first visualize and imagine and pretend that we're doing whatever it is that we want to do. And then we step into that. And the more that we do that, and there's a part of brain science associated with this too, you know, we connect some neurons in our brain, the more we visualize that. And the more we visualize that, the more we imagine it, pretend that it's happening, the more our mind, our unconscious mind, believes that that's where we're going.
Yeah.
It can be a roadmap, just a simple visualization of what you want for yourself and seeing yourself in those changes.
Yes, I truly believe in that. I've been privy to that through various, and it's probably, you know, it probably has to become a practice for me, because, and not right before bed, because I'm exhausted by the time I get to the bed.
Yeah. And it can be a fun thing too. It can be just a pretending and imagining, you know, your wildest dreams. Here you are doing what you want to be doing and seeing yourself. And what that does is it opens your mind to possibilities. Well, okay, that may be not it, but maybe this is it, until you get to that point where so many other people I think have touched on is like, yes, this is it. This is where I'm going. This feels right, you know, and intuitively.
Oh, I like that. I like that too. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a first hit.
No,
you know?
Not at all. And you can adjust it.
Experiment. Yeah.
Exactly. Just play with it.
Yeah, play with it. I like that. Yeah. Okay.
It's helpful that you're the movie director.
Thank you. Laureli, I'm worried that there might be another question. And
we don't have any more questions right now. It's okay. We're going to get ready to finish. Sadie and Asante have a little bit more, and if anyone else has a little bit more, and then we'll be finishing up. Go ahead.
Hi there. Listening to Patricia talk, just you know, something jumped into my mind. Another really powerful tool is that goes along the lines of that is creating a vision board. You know, and then you have a really powerful visual experience of what you're moving into, and actually the process of creating that vision board really gets your mind, body, energy, everything aligned with what you're doing. And it's a very powerful process. It really starts to reorient your energy. So yeah, and you can do it in a lot of different ways. You know, pulling things together out of magazines or anywhere, images that are things that just speak to you, that you see yourself doing, or that sparks something for you. And that's the emotional concept, or the emotional aspect of it as well. What makes you feel really good? What lights your heart up? What are your dreams? And get out of your mind and don't think, oh, I can't do that. Oh, my body isn't, there. Like, what really speaks to you? Just put it on the board and try to get out of your mind just intuitively. There's a lot of information online about how to create vision boards, but it really is a process that takes you down out of the mind, out of those limiting belief systems, and gets you into your heart and your intuition, and things can happen. It's magic. It's absolute magic what happens with those vision boards. So
it is. And then put it somewhere where you're going to see it every
day. Yeah, that helps you align constantly and puts you in that energy too.
I had one years ago, and it didn't work. It didn't work.
Well, let go of that.
Yeah, let go of that.
But when I think about what hasn't worked and such, I think about my family of origin, and where I've come from, and I can only give myself kudos for stepping out of the box.
We don't know what, that's kind of a perspective or a concept. We don't know what things are doing in the background and how they are or are not working. That's a limited kind of perspective that we have. I mean, who knows? There's so much a bigger picture going on that we don't know all the whys in the hows. So maybe these things work of course they worked precisely how they were supposed to for you, but and also we can tend to latch on to, again, it's that lack mentality. This didn't work as the way I envisioned it working, my limited construct of what it was, my expectations, what it should have looked like. That's a belief system too, and we can really latch on to that and only see negative, only see what didn't happen in the way we wanted it to. So and again, that's creating our own reality when we get locked into that. So there's so many ways we can really keep ourselves in these limited things, so
it could just be a matter of timing too. I mean,
that's it. We don't know exactly
this idea of when something should happen.
Exactly. I know we have a lot of ideas of what it should and shouldn't look like.
I remember this person at this New Thought church I used to go to. We were sitting in some kind of circle after church, and she said she had met her beloved, and she said, and she was probably 55-ish, and she said, I just have to pinch myself that I really have this man in my life. She said, I guess it's about God's timing. So, yeah.
Yeah, who knows what lessons are being learned through all of this, and what wisdom you've gleaned.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Yeah, Sadie and Asante said everything. All right, great. Yeah, anyone have anything else brief? Anything left for Laurel? All right, great. Laurel, thank you so much. It was a lovely question, a lovely crossing the field of so many different things.
Right. And I think that if you're, I don't want to lose the chat, so I can go to PayPal easily. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just put it in the chat. It's right there. So yeah, thank you so much. And sliding scale, please contribute what works for you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Yeah, so thank you everyone so much for being here today at our panel. I know one of our panelists had the internet go out, so I'll be sharing her information in a bit. But yeah, so practitioners, let's go ahead and reintroduce ourselves. So maybe go in a similar order as before: your name, your modalities, how people can connect with you online. Feel free to share your special again. I just put all of our information in the chat again too for everyone that's here. All right, so let's see if I get it.
I can't click on it. I wonder why it's not the
page. Is it allowing you to click just on that link?
Yeah, it won't allow me to click.
Well, I can go ahead and send you an
email. Wait, I lied. I lied.
I'm
It
glad
was
it's working for you. See, you do it a new way and it's something opens. So yeah, don't give up.
right, a matter of time. Okay.
Exactly. All right. Let's see. Well, okay, so we'll have Henry and then Marya and then Sadie and then Mary and Patricia. And Thorne. And Henry.
All right. So I'm Henry India Holden at henryindiaholden.com. Very simple. If you want to email me, I'm at henry@henryindiaholden.com. And I'm a life coach by training, and I'm also a tarotist by training. And as you saw, some of how you didn't see how I work with people because I work more collaboratively in session because we have the time for that. And I mainly help people figure out what they're about. Maybe you could call it life purpose or soul purpose, but I think it's maybe a little more figuring out your core values, because this is what will lead you to your life purpose. And so just recognizing how essential that is, so you can calm down and you can stop searching, you can start doing the work you came here to do. And so I do this with the tarot, I do this through life coaching, and very much do this through ecotherapy. So it's like a spiritual ecotherapy where it's mutual. So rather than using nature for our own purposes to heal, we enter a reciprocal relationship with nature, and that is healing. And if you want to find out, if you want to work with me, if we could be a good fit, if I have something to offer you that you can use and that you need, you can go to the chat, and there is a link for setting up a free 30-minute conversation. And I offer a fresh slate specials, 3 sessions for $99. I try to make it extremely affordable. It means I work harder, but it's worth it for everyone. If I can be of help because I make the price right, that's what I want to do. And then if you do continued sessions, it's $45 per session. If you want to just do one, like, oh, I just want a reading from Henry, that's $65. And yeah, just go to henryindiaholden.com and let it fly.
Thanks so much, Henry. Marya.
Hi, I'm Marya OMalley. I'm a spiritual, intuitive, and medium, and I also mentor people in the intuitive arts. And by that, I mean intuitive, using your intuitive gifts, identifying them, developing them, also mediumship and healing. And I also do help people understand how maybe they can get the word out better about their services if they are using their spiritual gifts professionally. I have a website, and it is maryaomalley.com. That's MaryaOMalley.com. And you can find out more about my services there. I also have some free things. I have meditations and other things that you can download or listen to there. And in the chat, I have a special for my deep listening about aging session. And there's a link there that you can use. You can click on it, find more about the session or schedule using that link. And you can also schedule a free talk with me, whether you're interested in mentoring or you just want to talk about your path, something along that line. I'd be happy to talk with you. And that link is in the chat as well. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thanks so much, Marya. Sadie and Asante are next.
Hello again, I'm Sadie.
I am Asante.
And we're Merkaba Heart.
We are Merkaba Heart.
We do energy healing, sound healing, shamanic healing, kind of it's all, or blend of all these things working together as 2 practitioners working at once, which creates a just unbelievably rich, textured, layered experience to really support you in your process. And I think we've seen tonight some of what we're really passionate about, working with clearing those limiting belief systems that show up in our energy body. We are energy, and all these patterns and belief systems that we've got going on are patterns of energy that can be worked with and cleared through sound and a variety of other practices and frequencies in nature, really working to get us in alignment, where a lot of these things are just us being out of tune with the truth of who we are, with our real nature, through so much conditioning and societal stuff. We offer a number of different programs and healing sessions and ritual, drum ritual especially really helps with a lot of this clearing, and getting intentional about how we live our lives. And we offer a number of community events, drum circles, real intentional healing drum circles to utilize nature, connecting with the earth, and utilize the frequencies of the earth and nature and the drum to really do a lot of healing. You can find out more about us on www.merkabaheart.com. Just one Merkaba heart in there. It was great being here this evening. We got to hear some wonderful things. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
We look forward to more of this.
We do. Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure being a part of this, and we look forward to the next one.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary McKenzie. I'm a Wiccan high priestess and intuitive tarot card reader. I work with your spirit guides and your ancestors, the dearly departed, your pets, anyone who decides to come through and I'm doing tarot card readings. They all love to talk to you and help you with your issues and your questions. My experience is from many different teachers and traditions over 30 plus years of doing this. I also teach. I'm kind of in semi-retirement right now, and I'm kind of more focusing on just doing the tarot card readings. I am involved with Laureli's MeWe fairs. I will be at the Linwood and Bellevue fairs and the Anacortes fair this year. I also have a website. I can put that again here in the chat. That tells you a little bit more about what I can do for you. I'm very earth-based, nature-based, and I can talk to you about the goddess and Gaia and her position as to what's going on right now and your position in that picture. So I look forward to speaking to whoever wants to get in contact with me. And I thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this evening and to listen to all of this wonderful wisdom. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mary. I just put your website in the chat again, and I'll put it in my list of everything for the future too. Oh, Carly. Oh, didn't know if Carly had something. Okay, Patricia's next.
Hi again, everybody, and what a treat it's been to hear all the different modalities and to learn more about all of the practitioners here and for the questions as well. So my name is Patricia Eslava Vessey, and I am a hypnotherapist, a coach, an NLP practitioner, fitness trainer, and author, and I help people transform negative, limiting, and unhelpful beliefs, emotions, and behaviors into empowered thoughts, feelings, and actions so you can live your best life. I do online individual and group sessions with people of all ages. I work with kids and adults. I work with weight loss, stop smoking, medical hypnosis. I do teach fitness classes online and in person. These include goal setting, confidence building, working with depression, anxiety, and insomnia, and some other challenges that people have. And you can find out more about me on my website, integritycoachingandtraining.com. It's all spelled out. You can also get a free stress release hypnosis recording on my website that people tell me helps them sleep. So if you're having trouble with that, download that free recording. You can also contact me through my website for a free consultation, just to ask me questions. And again, thank you for being here, and thank you, MeWe, for allowing me to be a practitioner here.
That's great. And Patricia, I didn't track. Did you say what your website is so it's available on the recording?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, integritycoachingandtraining.com. Okay, cool. And then just before Thorne goes, I'll mention Stacy Franco had her internet drop out. She does intuitive mediumship and Reiki healing. coastalcalmedium.com or coastalcalmedium@gmail.com. Her number is 707-622-5324. Thanks so much, Stacy, for the part of this that you were able to join us for. And then Thorne. We have a small enough group that we might be able to not spotlight now. See if that works.
Okay, so again, my name is Thorne. I use they, he pronouns, and I have a lot of different skills. I do tarot, astrology, life coaching, just pretty much anything you could think of. I work with deaf people, as I am deaf, and do ASL, as well as the hearing community. I try to help people with their journey and support where they are now and where they want to be. And it's not like, you know, an unequal relationship. We're very balanced. We're working together on that. So all of my information, my website, everything, Instagram, email. Understand I'm not on Facebook. I only have Instagram, social media, and I do also virtual meetings. So in person really depends on, you know, with COVID and everything. And, you know, I'm in Portland. So yeah, so we could figure it out if you're interested. So, and I'm really happy to be here and I look forward to the next panel. See you guys next time.
Thanks so much. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader and body psychology coach. I read your eyes, read your soul, and answer questions about your purpose, your path, growth opportunities, other people in your life, etc. You can learn more about me at laurelishimayo.com. That's Laurelishimayo.com. And I've got 40% off if you want to do a session with me from being here at the panel, and that information, more details are in the chat. And thanks so much everyone for being here with us. Some of our upcoming events are our Metaphysics and Wellness Fair online. That is tomorrow, Sunday, July 10 from 5 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. It's $5 admission or sliding scale if you need that. You can go there, the same website that you used to get into the event today, jointhefair.com, joinmeweonline.com, that currently go to the same place. So jointhefair.com, 5 to 9 p.m. We have about 20 practitioners. We'll be doing a free intuitive panel the first hour, and then we have about 35 talks, group readings, and group healings that are happening, and practitioners will be available for sessions as well, if you're interested in that. On Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we have a panel on past lives. Then later in the month, on the 20th, we have a panel on connecting astrology, neurodiversity, synesthesia, and the clairs. And right after that, on the 21st, we have a panel on healing from narcissistic abuse. So all kinds of interesting, great things coming up this month, as well as fairs in person in the Pacific Northwest. If you are here, we're going to be in Anacortes. That's about an hour and a half above Seattle, north of Seattle, next weekend. So July 16 and 17, and then the end of August we'll be in Bellevue, and then beginning of September we'll be in Eugene, continuing on during the fall. All of our information, all of our events are at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. Thanks so much, practitioners, for being here today, for everyone being here supporting this space, and Laurel for asking a great question, and other people supporting us with interesting conversational topics, and Henry for asking a question of the panel as well. All right, I'm going to turn off the recording. Thanks, everyone.